It's the Adam22 hash Maddox podcast.
Oh yeah.
This is the chat.
What you want to ask me? You were
This
saying
a
that
chat.
before. You were saying that you want to ask me
It's a chat
shit.
host. If it's a
Yeah,
chat
because
host,
this is a chat house. Because it's not.
Listen, if you can pull off 10 or more minutes of you interviewing me, I will be really impressed.
let's go. Ask him some questions.
All right, you gotta give me all the
Ask
money.
him, no. Ask him stuff you was asking me earlier, like about old no jumper and stuff like that. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. What happened to the no jumper tours when y'all was really lit and y'all was young and you actually had hair and you was actually fun, and now you just boring sitting down?
Damn.
That's what you have to ask.
And
me.
why is Adam getting interviewed when you're an interviewer, bro?
Wait, hold on 1 minute. I'm pretty sure I already had a shaved head by the time I went on that pump tour.
Nah, bro, you didn't, bro.
I didn't?
You didn't, bro. Bro, you
I'm trying to remember now.
definitely didn't, bro. You definitely didn't,
You
bro.
might be right.
The joint with him and Smoke Perp.
Anyway, we have a lot of new tours in the works and stuff as long as I'm being interviewed. We do have some tour stuff in the works. We have some new live shows. We got a monthly LA live show. I'm not going to announce who it is, but it's super dope. You guys will think it's dope. So yeah, we're still working on the live angle of things. You know, the problem is that live takes a ton of money in terms of just doing shows,
Indeed.
tours.
Excuse
me. It doesn't. Well, it does take a lot of money, but more importantly, it doesn't make a lot of money unless you're the artist. Like going on tour as the artist and you're getting, whatever, you're 5, 10, 20 grand a night, boom, you're good. As the person putting on the tour, it's a lot harder to really find where you insert yourself into that and say, oh, I need this amount of money. But meanwhile, you still have a lot of costs and everything. So for me, like in terms of the short term, doing content makes a lot more sense. Streaming makes a lot more sense. Doing merchandise makes a lot more sense. Obviously, in the long term, I do want to have a No Jumper Fest. And like I look at somebody like Cole Bennett, he's clearly working towards the Lyrical Lemonade Fest thing, which I really, really respect.
Yeah,
That he's looking at the long term in that regard. But we've lacked a little bit on that. I think I got a little frustrated by the doing those first tours. Like the Pump and Perp one went great. The next two we did after that, not as great. And then I feel like we hit gold with the Pump and Perp one. We got Pump and Perp tour when they had like 100K followers or whatever. It was like super early on. And then the other ones, it was good. I mean, we made a lot of really good videos that went crazy off of that tour, which is the good part. But I mean, obviously, most of the time when you go on a tour, they don't end up exploding like Pump and Perp. But we're just trying to figure out ways to do what we can in that space. Next question.
Boom.
How old are you?
34. Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were 33. You're 34 now?
Last year I was 33.
You just turned 34.
November. So I'm actually closer
to
to
35?
I'm 34 and a half.
You're about to
35?
be 35. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, another question.
What?
Why did you interview Smoke Perp but not Lil Pump?
Well, that's a
There
good
is a
question.
Little Pump interview.
Yeah, that
And
never
it was-
came out.
It never
It's
came
never
out, and
coming
I
out.
seen it.
Well,
I want to see that.
well, you did not see it, you fucking liar. Nobody's seen it.
I definitely seen it.
If you weren't in here, then you didn't see it.
It's another interview.
And you weren't here because it was
with
8 in the
I
morning.
came after the day. I came that day.
I might have shown you like 2 minutes of it,
And you
but
showed me like at least a good like 10 minutes.
the
of it, and he
reason
was like,
why you're lying is because the video file, I used to have to take the video file and then put the audio file over the video file to match it up
I
because you
just
could
remember
barely
he
hear
was
it.
Just sitting there like high as shit.
Yeah, I mean, he called me at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. He's all fucked up on something. He's like, yo, let's do this interview. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I was about to go to sleep. I'm like, cool. I go to the studio. Pump makes me hang out with him until like fucking 6, 7 in the morning. And then he decides to come here. And by the time we were like about to start on the interview, whatever he had been on before was definitely over. And he was just like, ugh. And, actually, I fucked up the other day. Well, the Smoke Perp one was easy because I just ran into him at Babylon. And then we just did it a couple of days later. It was nothing.
Yeah.
But then in terms of the Pump one, it was like, we tried to do it that one time. Didn't really work out. I felt like I did so many fucking vlogs and everything with him, and it just never really seemed like the most important thing. And if you know Pump, he just doesn't talk that much. Like,
He doesn't like talking at all.
if there's any kind of and see, I'm going to tell you about a catastrophic L that I took the other day, but it's understandable. So I'm doing the Aston Matthews podcast. G,
Yeah.
you know him. He's
Yeah.
a G,
Yeah.
respectable guy.
OG.
Pump comes in the middle of it and fucking neck slaps me. And then I'm just like, oh shit, Lil Pump, And Aston's obviously looking at him like, damn, that's Lil Pump. That's weird as fuck. Like, why is Lil Pump here? But, I just dapped Pump up and was like, all right, cool. Like, we're going to get back into the interview. I could have definitely done the Pump interview. Like, he wanted to hop on live stream, but I just didn't want to disrespect Aston,
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't happen. But it's kind of, if Pump had come a half hour earlier before Aston started his interview, Then I would have just been like, Pump, sit down. Boom. Probably would have not like done like an hour, but we probably would have at least done like 10, 20 minutes. So
Definitely would have done 10, 20 minutes.
maybe someday soon.
But shout out to
Might have to drop
Wait, so
that
Pump
joint
are
now.
you gonna keep Pump slapping your neck in Ashton's interview?
Yeah, but I saw the clip and you really can't tell it's him because you only see his arm, which aside from the fucking bust down doesn't really look like too much.
Well, bro, you need to drop that interview.
With Aston.
Nah.
Pump. Well, to be honest, yeah, I mean,
And you need to drop the one with Ashton.
yeah, that's gonna be fire. We can put that out later.
Me, both of them.
No, I mean, yeah, I love.
Why you don't want to go viral?
I'll go viral.
Nah, bro,
Yo,
you
keep it
never
real with you.
trying to go viral.
Ashton hit me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm with Matt," and he was like, "Well, I got Crazy Girls tonight at the club," and I was like, "Well, he's only 300." He goes,
Dumb.
"Who me?
Yeah.
What, smoking?"
Like,
Yeah.
and everybody knows how fucking old you are.
Nah, bro. I don't care, bro.
If I go on my phone right now and I search Maddox's age, it's
All
gonna
right,
say.
bro. I don't care.
Do it. Do
I
it
don't-
right now. Do it right now. Search your phone.
I'm not gonna, but
Search. Google it.
I don't have my phone.
Google it. Google
I
it.
love how everyone here's phones are destroyed beyond fucking
Do
recognition.
you know how old we are? Kids.
Apparently. All right. What were we just on?
Shit, I don't want to.
You gotta drop the Pump John, but never drop this, because this too exclusive.
What were we just saying? You said something about his age.
Ashton Matthews taking Maddox to the
I was
strip
invited to
club.
that video shoot too, and I've never been to Crazy Girls, and I really want to go.
Go to. Let's go to Crazy Girls.
It would have been a great time to go for the music video shoot. It's probably all shut down and everything, but I hung out with Travis Barker last night, so
Yeah, I seen that was fire.
that's cool.
Like Matt asked me earlier, what's wrong with Lil Xan?
Wrong with?
Not wrong. I like Lil Xan.
Oh, I love Lil Xan.
I love Lil
That's the
Xan
bro.
too.
Right, yeah,
Diego.
great kid.
It's
But what's
just-
wrong with him? I mean, he's done a lot of drugs. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Not even that, bro.
He's depressed. He
It
has
just don't
anxiety.
look like he happy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of artists is like that nowadays, bro.
Well, you know what bums me out? I'll be totally honest about Lil Xan. I love Lil Xan. I love hanging out with Lil Xan, but I like hanging out with Lil Xan more when he's like somewhat coherent, you know? And sometimes I see him in videos and I'll be hanging out with a bunch of people that, you know, I know most of them and shit, but he's super fucked up and they just think it's super funny. And it's just kind of like, damn, like, do they
No,
really,
definitely.
do they give a fuck about you? Like,
So that's what's wrong with Lil Xan. He has people that around him that doesn't give a fuck about.
yeah, but I mean, he's a drug addict too. At the end of the day, it's like, you know, I've talked about it with his managers. They're like, what do we do? Like, you know, like we can't stop him. We could throw him in rehab. I guess we could do that. And I'm like, I honestly, I've told his managers, I think it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's definitely around.
I feel like his management try to control him.
I mean, he says that, but when you actually, I've had conversations with Stat, his manager, about like the things that Xan has been pissed off at him about, and it's, you know, it's he's looking out for him, like him not giving him the G-Wagon, just for example. I mean, he doesn't have a license. He can't get insurance because he's been in so many car accidents earlier in his life and shit, you know.
How you come up with no jumper?
Man, it's so funny because some fucking dude that I like worked with for like 10 minutes, he like tried to say like, oh, I created No Jumper, all this shit. He's like, he helped me think up the name. That's literally it.
Really?
Yeah, back in the day, it was supposed to be a blog, you know, just like a
Yeah, I
rap
remember.
blog. I mean, like, I basically was like, yo, I will fund it. I'll make the website. I'll like help and everything, but then you can like, you know, try to get some people to write for it and everything and like just handle the editorial side of things. And if it starts doing good, then I can start paying
That
you.
would be boring, bro. If No Jumper was a website.
Well,
yeah,
that's what it shit used to be.
But so it
used to
was.
be like
It was. I had
two-
articles
two
and shit
dope
for a
boys type
while,
shit,
but
yeah.
then it was like that dude just got depressed or weird and just stopped updating it. So then there was no Jumper for a couple of years, and then at some point I was like, man, fuck, I'm gonna start doing interviews. And I actually asked the dude, I was like, you care if I use the name just to do interviews? And he was like, no, that's cool. And then a couple of years later, he got an article complaining about it.
Fire.
But it's just so funny because it's like, wow, like I was just looking at that like, you fucking idiot. That's the biggest look you're ever gonna get in your life, and you just used it up talking about me. What are you, fucking dumb, bro? Like, imagine having that be the pinnacle of your whole existence. Oh, mom's calling.
Ma.
Hey, Miss L.
You're on No Jumper, ma.
Hey,
Hi, ma.
how you doing?
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Just interviewing your son. Actually, your son's trying to interview me.
Oh, trying to turn the tables.
He's trying. It's a little rough.
Interviewer because he's not interested in anyone else but himself. So
A lot of rappers have that problem, but yeah, he's probably one of them. Yeah.
that's why they can't be interviewers.
That's very astute of you, to be honest. Yeah, that's a pretty good, accurate description of the scenario.
I know my son.
He's a son of a gun. Hey, who has more clout, me or your son?
I don't know. That's for the clap gods to decide.
Just how quickly they change their story. All right, here's your son. Oh, ask your mom to ask me a question. This is a great idea.
Ma, ask Adam a question.
Question why you're interviewing him?
Yeah, you got anything you want to know?
All right, what questions did you ask?
Nothing too good.
Your favorite interview?
Ooh,
Your favorite interview?
hash exposed.
Really?
No.
Hell no.
Probably the X one to be totally 100%. Yeah.
Antoine Dixon, where he explains how he beat up the girl at the bar.
Did he? Oh yeah, he did tell some crazy stories actually. No, yeah, but there. I mean, yo, the X interview was my favorite
Interview was very, very, very crazy.
but on
too.
all
I love
levels,
that one.
because it's like I could judge an interview on how successful they became after they did it versus how successful they were when they did it.
Quitting the interview.
I could judge an interview by like how much it did for No Jumper or how much it did for me, like a totally selfish way. It's definitely number one in that category. I mean, it's just in every way, and just content, and just
That
how
was a great
crazy it
one.
was.
It was very crazy.
You know, it had the
Especially with
biggest
Ski Mask
impact.
there, yeah.
Ski Mask being there, Wi-Fi, and Craig Zen, and everybody just sitting there in the shot, just sitting on a bike, smoking weed and shit, bro.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Very
sure.
funny.
Crazy.